Cool. So we're going to take a look at those Phase 5 capstone MVPs. Um, these are hopefully close to what you're looking to do. So we can do more polishing and touch up and bug fixing and feature adding next week. But right now, I'm really curious to see where we're at. So anyone want to volunteer to go first?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it. Let me make sure you can share a screen.
I
Goes,
cannot.
should be good now.
No, I don't want to go anymore. See, it's the red screen, I think.
Yep.
Alrighty. So this is a board game tracker for nerds like me who have a board game night with their friends from high school, and we have currently a giant mess of an Excel spreadsheet that keeps track of all of our scores. But with this, it'll look a little bit nicer. So first things first, you can log in with a smorgasbord of real and fake data. The game list here, um, Scythe is a real game. The other two are not. But if you go here, we got a kind of how I set it up. You add in your players, and then you add in whatever games that you want to play or that you have played. And then you can say that we played games on this day, and then you can just kind of go down the list, and then you can select any of the games that are in the database to play, and then that's definitely a date. I got a little bored putting in data, but we can just add that in. And then whenever you go into the points, then you can just select any instance of a game that you played. So it's not just tracking like your score for this game, it's the score for the game on the date. And then whoever the person was, and say they got second with 4 points with Scythe, that's not believable, but it's fine. And then we've got some stuff here. I'm going to add a little bit more for this. Mostly just like average points and then sorting by whatever, because right now it's just sorted by total points, but not too bad to just add in, a toggle for those. But yeah, other than that, it's kind of how it goes.
Do you have anything on your or what's on your user story list that you haven't gotten to yet? You feel like
I think the export to CSV, and that's it.
cool. Anything styling probably. Anything else you would like to
Yes.
add once you get everything kind of nailed down here?
um, if I can, I want to mess around with deployment, but um, I don't know. Other than that, just kind of fiddle in with more stuff that I can show about everything, and yeah, obviously the styling.
Nice. Anything that's particularly tricky for you here?
There was one thing. So I was looking at hybrid properties in the database for a while, and I couldn't get it to work for a very long time. So instead, I just did regular properties in player,
Mhm.
and then whenever the endpoint gets called, it just lines all those up with a little bit of extra logic in that API call. And then once that's called there, then it's just in the database and you don't have to do it again. It's not how I would do it if I had a lot more time to work on it, but it definitely works. So
That's what counts.
yeah.
Cool. What questions do you have about this or comments? All right, looking good, looking good. Who would you like to go next?
Oh. uh Travis.
Cool.
Cool.
Trevor, concert
Yeah.
stuff, is that right?
Concert, yes,
Yeah.
stylized in the 2010 and later style with no vowels.
Awesome. Let's see what we
Uh,
got.
cool. Let me just get everything started here. Take a moment. Almost there. All right, cool. Oh, and now it's reloading. Okay, cool. This is concert. It is effectively a just like a kind of similar to Ryan's, like it's a way to track things. And in my case, it's a way to track concerts and other kind of musical events that one attends. But here's our login page. If you don't have an account, you can sign up. You know, no real PII except for your name. So like, no email or anything. So assuming it's probably not the safest security wise. If it got hacked, it's not getting anything exciting. But go ahead and log in, and it'll bring us to our home page, which is the timeline view. So it defaults to just sorting all of your concerts and music festivals in chronological order by date. I can also swap that with this button and sort them by the ratings that were given. And you can just kind of toggle between those two. And then got my nav bar on the side here. So home is just this page. My concerts, all pretty similar, but this is just all concerts and not festivals. And then, I can go in here and I can like search. As we've seen in a number of things, I can filter by the year. And then I can additionally filter by the the venue that's there. And then if I hover over any of these cards, I have the edit and delete option. Let's just go back to also I can go in here, click edit. Obviously some design work with like my forms is what I'll be doing next, and other little, the utility bar and stuff. But the edit form will just pre-populate with everything that is existing, and then you just change what you want to change. Delete also gives you a little, double check modal here to make sure you want to or not. And then onto the festivals page, again, very similar. Not as much sorting here, just for now, just a search, and then an ability to add a new festival. And then I can click into any one of these and it will pull up another modal here with the details. And inside of a festival, we have another layer, basically the artists that were viewed at the festival. And these are just non-interactive cards, so these don't pop up with any additional info, but they have kind of all the same data points. So like if there were, if when I was, adding some test data, I could add like a set list for this as well. I could add a designated, I included in the model, like, you can check if it's a headliner or not. I ended up not caring enough about that to like actually build it into the front end. But then you can go in and add additional bands or artists to this particular festival card. And then one thing I didn't show on here is then in you can include a set list link. So then if there is one, you'll see some of these don't have it, some of them do. But if I click on this, it'll just open up to this website, setlist.fm, where people publish set lists for specific shows. And then go down to venues. This is a pretty basic page. It's just a list of like all the venues in the system with the ability to add new ones. I really included this because I had already built out, like, when you add a concert, you use the venue ID was a lot easier than the venue name and stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to give them access to the venue ID via this page. And then lastly, the least designed thus far page is your account. But here you would just have, your basic username, a bio. I'm going to add the ability to like update, things like username, bio, and password from here. There's just a counter, which just automatically updates as you add a festival event or a concert event. The number will update. And then this is just a little blurb of like, why is this my idea? Basically, I go to a lot of concerts. People are like, what was the best one? I was like, oh, dude, I don't remember, but I can semi-quantitatively come in here and look at what the best one was. And then, log out and brings you back to the login page. That's what I got so far.
Nice, looking good. Same questions, I guess. What's on your feature list, your user stories that you still have to work on there?
Yeah, the only thing that's on the user story that I haven't added is like patching like user data. So like password, username, bio, stuff like that. One of the stretch goals, which I don't think I'm going to get to like before the end of school, but would like to add afterwards, is to make this like actually kind of like quasi social where you could follow other users, and it wouldn't be like super engaged, filled with engagement with those users, but you could just like see their timelines. So like I could follow my friends and I could, look at their timelines and just see, what have they gone to, this year, for example. That was the main stretch goal that I want to add. Another one that would take some research is like, I think it'd be nice to then house, like on a concert card, I could include like, I could upload photos and videos that I personally took. Because that's another thing. It's like I go to all these concerts, I take all these photos and videos, and they just sit in my camera roll and they never get looked at, ever. So it'd be nice to just house them there. I could delete them off my phone, but that probably includes some sort of like AWS cloud storage stuff that I obviously we haven't covered. So I don't know anything about that. Those would be kind of the two bigger size things I would like to add, late after the fact. And then the stuff that gave me the most trouble was dates.
Yeah,
for sure. Like I had to, what did I have to do? I had to, and I think part of it is just because of how we in America do our dates. Like if we did it the European way, it would have been easier. But yeah, I had to like format them like, you enter the data year, then month, then day, and then it like that allowed for the sorting to work, but I didn't want it displayed like that. So I had to do a bunch of, parsing and blah, blah, blah stuff to get it to show up, a little bit cleaner. And then the other thing that I kind of wasted 3/4 of a day on was I was trying to use like a semantic modal component for those pop-ups. And I couldn't get, it just kept giving me errors that I couldn't understand. And I was able to just pretty easily build a modal just with JSX. And that was a lot easier and worked right away. So that was nice. Yeah.
Awesome. The exposed ID thing there, are you gonna do something with that or?
Potentially. I think my kind of first order of business now is like clean it, get everything kind of stylized nicely. Second order of business will be, adding some additional like patches for some stuff. And then third order business, if time allows before next Thursday, would be to just have that be when I'm adding a concert to include the venue via venue name. So I just would have to like switch the foreign key, I think, from ID to ID from venue name to venue name.
Nice. Good. Anyone have questions, comments? All right then. Who would you like to go next?
Sorry, let's go with Wes.
Wes. All right. Is this pet adoption stuff?
Yes, Pet Adoption Connect.
Awesome. Let's see
Got a
if-
real ring to it. Yeah, and as I intimated, I chose this subject matter because there was not nearly enough pet subject matter in the regular curriculum. Didn't see the word pet come up often enough. So the gist of the site is that it's let me find the right window to share here. There we go. The gist of the site is that it's a place where if you have a pet that you can no longer care for and would like to rehome, you can, instead of taking it to an animal shelter where it might meet a terrible fate of euthanasia, you can put it up on this site for adoption, you know, if time's not a huge factor. And on the flip side, people looking to adopt a pet can come here and browse the available pets and connect directly with the pet's owner and arrange for an adoption. A lot of in the real world, a lot of ethical considerations would come into it. You got to make sure you're complying with local animal welfare laws, making sure it's full of disclaimers that you can't buy dogs to make hamburgers or perform scientific research or stuff like that. So this is kind of a bare bones attempt at what a site like this might look like, but the core functionality is there. So this is our home page, and if you are just visiting and you want to post a new pet, you're going to get a alert to say you must be registered and logged in as an owner. So I have two classes of users. When you register, you can register as an owner or as an adopter. And if you registered as an owner, you can post a pet. But if you're just browsing and you want to look at pets, then you can do that a couple different ways. But just to look at the home page, still some styling stuff to work out. Just trying to make buttons and inputs and select fields look a little bit cooler. But some basic stuff. You can hover, get a little hover effect, and each one of these pet cards, you can click on it and view the pet's details with greater granularity, and you can see the user's or the owner's username, which you could later use to send a message. Now, if you're logged in, then you have the ability to compose and send messages to other users. And of course, everyone knows I like dark mode, so I brought that over from my Phase4 project, so you can view it in dark mode. So let's see. I know I have. I'll log in first as an owner. I think this person here is an owner. Got my password stuff just saved in there. And so if I'm an owner and I want to post a new pet, this could use some style improvements, but we'll just give it a name. How about Rex? Good doggy name. We'll post it as a dog. Right now I only have dogs and cats in the database, but you can post reptiles, birds, small mammals. I was going to do horses, but if this became a real website, then horses are a whole nother legal area to think about, and it's a little bit more complicated. So I have a pet here in a notepad. So I'll just fill in the details. It's a Vizsla, Vizsla. We'll say that it's 2, and we'll say that Rex is a boy. I have one cat in there with narcolepsy, so we'll have a narcoleptic Vizsla. And let me post in a URL. I guess I'm too easily amused by the idea of pets that suddenly fall asleep. So pet posted successfully, redirects you to his detail page. There's Rex the Vizsla. And I can do some patch update. And specifically, it's if Rex were to become adopted, and I can update him as adopted, and he will never appear on the list of available pets. And then for the D of the crud, we can delete him. So he's been deleted. And so, also, I forgot to mention on the home page, it automatically just renders this list of featured pets. It just pulls 4 random pets out of the database. So if you keep refreshing, you'll see 4 different pets generated, rendered. Let's see. What else did I have in my... So, I was going to search for the Vizsla, but we can search for another one. I know that this owner has a cat named Jasper. So you can search by name, you can search by that set number of species, or by gender. If you only want to search for male cats or dogs, etc., you could do it that way. But now, since this user is the owner of Jasper, if the user clicks on Jasper's card, then the user can update or delete that pet. If not, if the user, even, if you're logged in as an owner, but you're viewing someone else's, then you don't have the option to update or delete that pet. Now I'll quickly log in as an adopter, so I'll log out. And I don't know if you notice, when you log out, you no longer have the option to view your message inbox. That conditionally renders based on whether you're logged in or not as a user, whether you're an owner or adopter. So I think, yeah, this one, N. Miller. I just saved those in there for quickness. So N. Miller is a user with an adopter role in their profile. So, I think Willow's cute. So now I can send a message to the owner. Say, I want to meet your cat. When is good? And send the message. And I can refresh, and hopefully, and there it is. I want to meet your cat. When is good? So let's see if there's any other. There's just resources for pet adopters. If you want to read tips on whether or not you're ready to get a new pet, whatever. I want to update those cards so they have the same hover effect. Easy enough to do. I think I only have one external link on this site. There, check out American Kennel Club and check out breeds of dogs on there. What else do I have that's interesting to show you? I think that's pretty much the core of my presentation. It's what it looks like in light mode. Does anyone have any questions?
I love me a dark mode.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's easier on the eyes after when you're looking at the screen for many hours, and when it's dark outside. So yeah, I think that's a great innovation, of the past several years, whenever they started becoming popular.
What kind of stuff are you looking at working on next week?
I have a branch where I've been working on this appointment system. And as I was going through it, I'm like, from a user experience standpoint, it was kind of less convenient than just the ability to send a message directly to the owner. So I kind of, like I said, I pivoted and I inserted that functionality instead, just to have a direct connection, a quick, easy way to message the owner of a pet. The appointment system was, you would go into the pet detail card and click, I want to meet this pet. And then you could type in a little bit of a custom message, and it would send a request to the owner. And then the owner would have to respond to that request with a meeting time. And then you'd have to go back and forth that way to schedule an appointment. And then the appointments would populate in the database and have a status of either scheduled or completed. And I, for pride's sake, personal sake, I want to get through and make it work. It seemed like everything I did with it was causing a new set of errors that I was really struggling to get through. And I couldn't figure out exactly what it was. It was like the homepage featured pets list wouldn't render right when I had the appointments class set up. So there was something with relationships and serialized rules that was getting screwed up. And every time I fixed one thing, another 500 error would pop up. So I was not enjoying that part of the process. And so that's why I pivoted to the much easier direct messaging system. So I'm gonna keep fiddling with it. I've got the weekend in a couple days, but in the meantime, I do have a stable, functional, app that works, provides just about everything I promised. I'm like, the appointment system was part of it, and the other part of it was kind of a stretch goal, which I might try to work some on, is like add the ability for different organizations. So an animal shelter could could link to this site and post their pets on it too, just as a way to reach a wider audience. But that's more of a stretch goal. And so for now, I'm going to be focused more on just appearance improvements, making the form fields look a little more sleek and modernized for searching, posting, composing messages, etc. But I'm pretty happy with what I've gotten done so far, and particularly in light of the 6 house guests who have been distracting me all week. I'm glad that I was able to pull off this much.
Nice. Cool. Any other questions or anything? All right, looks great. Looks really good.
Awesome, thank you.
Who would you like to go next?
Let's pass it over to John, my dev, and we can attribute any awesomeness of his project to my awesome project management skills.
Here we go.
All right, let me see here. All right. So I made Flatiron 2. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble for using the logo and stuff. But essentially, the idea was it's gonna be like a YouTube clone kind of deal. So that was the idea, kind of going into it. So what I ended up having to do for at least for this presentation, I ended up using a YouTube API just to kind of make sure I had everything that kind of like how I want it to look like. So over here on the side, we have our categories here. This pulls directly from YouTube, but the API I got I think it's like an Indian YouTube. So we got some kind of stuff from all over the place. But yeah, all these videos work. You can click on it, take you to watch videos, whatnot. On the side here is actually recommended and like related videos. The thumbnails were working earlier this week. I messed around with something and it kind of messed up. I don't know if it was me or the API, but all these, they still work on the when you click on them, right? So you can go to movies, TV, right? Let's see, we got Barbies here. We can even search things up. Let's see, type in Flatiron School. What comes up, right? So cool. We got all this stuff right here. Yeah, so that's kind of what I got. I kind of got overwhelmed. Like when I picked this project, I was thinking, oh yeah, like it doesn't seem that difficult to put together a video hosting website, right? Like I kind of brainstormed the models out, and as I started working on it, it just like the rabbit holes got deeper and deeper. That's why like, okay, let me like just build out the front end first, because like the models that I had originally wrote up, like I was like, these might not work, or I might need more. I'm like I might delete some. So that's kind of where I got to. Yeah, that was yeah. So I went too fast.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any
Yeah, so what are you looking to work on next week?
So I definitely I had that sign button there. I need to get that function hooked up, but because I wasn't using this YouTube API, I wasn't sure how to like go about it. I wasn't like I don't know if you can have two APIs, but even if I did have two APIs, like, you know, I had it on my deliverables. I wanted to have at least, like, you know, be able to add comments, view comments, like videos and follow videos. But, you know, since this uses YouTube API, you'd have to sign in with your YouTube account, right? Because like it's like affecting like all like the actual YouTube stuff. And I was like, okay, well maybe I can add something to work on top of that. I tried playing around with that. That didn't work out too well. So I'm gonna have to kind of like unplug this API, plug in my own backend, and then I realized, wow, I gotta see like hundreds of videos or something, right? So I might scale it down a little bit in terms of like categories on the side, just to kind of filter in my own seed and stuff. Yeah, definitely want to get that sign in functionality in. I'd like to add the comments. I want to be able to. Oh, no, I should show you guys this too. This doesn't crash on me. Oh, dang it. Well, you can also look at what do you call it? The channels on here too. So you can go and look at the channels page and look at all the videos that the channel makes. Yeah, I like to add, you know, being able to follow and like videos, and that you know that tie into the actual user that's signed into it. But yeah, I feel like I can get that done. But I wanted to add a watch history.
Mm.
Can we backtrack on the deliverables we set out on day one?
Yeah, you can. Sure.
I was like, as I'm going through, it's like, wow, this is gonna be a lot of, you know, relationships in the bag.
Yeah,
But I mean, this is what I've got so far.
sweet. Cool. Looks good. Who would you like to go next?
Let's go with Mr. Juan.
Nice.
All right, let me just share my screen here. So just a disclaimer, I'm not as far as I would have wanted to be yet. So this is how it's looking right now. It's looking pretty rough. I need to add a lot of CSS, but yeah, we start here with the login page and then just log in. And then I wanted to make like a food delivery kind of app with a bunch of different restaurants here. And I made it SpongeBob themed, but I think I'm gonna change that to like real restaurants because it's been hard finding pictures of the food items and stuff like that. But yeah, so once you log in, you get sent to this home page. You have a list of restaurants here. You can click on the restaurant, and right now there's only 2 items on here, but then you see list of reviews that people left, and then you can even add them to your cart. This little pop-up menu comes up. Item added to cart, item added to cart, and then we can go home, go to a different restaurant, add more items, and then go to your cart, and then it has all the items that you added, the total, and then you can even remove them here. And then we have an add review section here for the bottom when we have our reviews here. We can add a review, leave a comment, say SpongeBob is signed in, so he'll say I work here. Submit, review submitted, and it should pop here. There it is. And then we have an account section, which has the image, and then I wanted to make it so that restaurants can leave reviews on customers as well.
Mm.
So that's here. This is Weenie Hut Jr. saying that SpongeBob leaves great tips and always a pleasure to have. But yeah, it's looking real rough right now, but I still got a lot of work to do.
That's something to work on.
Yeah.
Cool. What are your priorities for next week?
Well, I definitely want to add a lot of CSS, and then I made it that you can also log in as a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So say here we're logged in as the Chum Bucket. So I need to add a lot of functionality to this where you can add reviews to customers. And then I also want to make it that on your account section, you can delete reviews. And then here's where I wanted to put most of my CRUD stuff to delete, patch, update menu items and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Mostly just CSS and then a couple of functionality features here and there.
Cool. Awesome. Look forward to seeing the whole ballot thing. Awesome. Anyone else have any questions or anything? All right. 2 people to choose from. Who's it gonna be?
Let's go with Maddox.
Cool. Um, there we go. So I made like a game library type of thing. So you can log in. I'll just use the test one that I had. And then once you log in, it'll take you back to the home page. And then you can see your profile, your like display name and bio and profile picture. You can edit these. Let's just go. Whatever. And once you do it, once you apply, it'll take you back to your profile. And you can go view all games. This is all still filler data except for a few that I added. And you can add them to your library. And if you already have one in your library, it'll give a little alert saying it's already in your library. And then you can check your library and remove them from your library or see reviews and write a review. So if I want to write a review for good game was fun and post it, and it'll show up with the like username or the display name of whoever wrote it there and then the amount of stars. And then if I go back, I can remove any of these from my library, but it's super slow and buggy. So sometimes it just doesn't remove it unless I click it again. So that's one thing I definitely need to fix. And then you can add a new game. Let's just do Destiny 2. And this will put the new game on the page for anyone to see or add to library or review. I can't see the button because of the zoom, but I can add it or see reviews. And these ones also work. The reviews for any of these. And then I can log out and then sign up with a new user. Username 3. And only these 3 are required. I don't require a profile picture or bio because you can add those later. And now I'm on this new profile. So that's about it that I have for now.
Mhm.
What I want to do in the future is a lot of CSS and remove the filler data and add actual data in. But mostly a lot of CSS and making like this not say that and fix up these forms and all that. But I'm mostly done with it, I think.
Yeah, what's on the user stories list that you're still looking at doing?
Let me check. I'm pretty sure I have all of my user stories done, but just not as well as they could be done.
Nice.
Yeah, other than my stretch goals, I have all of my user stories done,
Cool.
but they could be better.
Awesome. Great. Anyone have questions or anything? Okay. Looks like we are down to our last one. This is gonna be Dom. Dominic, what you got?
All right. Let me share. I'm just making sure. Okay, share screen 3 so that I can. Okay. So I have chess.com.com. If you think that it's related to any other website, just you you're wrong. This is chess.com.com. I'm mostly proud of the CSS work that I've done, so I'm going to show off a bit of that. When you hover over the logo, it gets bigger, got the fade stuff. I love that stuff. When it's time to play chess.com, you got that nice pulse effect, beautiful, subtle. I also it's got like, you know, the reddish pinkish going on, and then the background is like it's like a, I forget the word, but it fades from a little pink to more white. And in dark mode, everything's purple, goes from purple to black. So I wanted it to be a little bit more than just the standard dark mode where it's just it's white. Oh, now it's black. So I added color, and I thought it was nice. But I'm gonna stick to light mode because I think it looks nicer. And so when it's time to play chess, it takes you to the settings page where you can choose to play as white or black, and then it'll flip the board depending on who you play as. But I'll play as white, and then you can choose the duration. So we'll play a 10-minute game. Here it shows that you are the creator of the game, and then it has a link down at the bottom so that you can share with someone else. And then you got the board here. When it's your turn, it hovering over a piece will show where it can move to. It's got, you know, timers. There's a chat box right down here, and even different board themes, which just have some fun colors. But the green and white is always my favorite. Now, ideally, the way this would work is you would copy the link, and then your friend would join, and then you'd have 2 games. And if I split these, then when one move happens, it would adjust on the other side. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. And that's what I am getting to. Like I mentioned this morning, I didn't have anything. I actually had to revert back to, basically I had to erase all of my progress from yesterday, because I had nothing rendered. When I opened this page, it was blank. And I don't know if you guys can see the link up at the top very well, but up here, the link says it's /game/101. 101 is the ID. And on this side, I can't see because of the zoom thing, but it says game code, and then it has a bunch of letters and numbers. And in my head, that's the reason why this doesn't populate. I believe my code is correct, but that's the reason why it doesn't adjust. And also, like, the timers are wrong. It's not a 1-to-1 because it's technically like 2 different instances. And so in my head, I was like, okay, well, this game code is a bunch of letters and numbers. That seems way more secure than the game ID, because the game ID just goes up by 1 every time I make a new game. And so I was like, okay, so I'll change the creator link to go by the game code instead of the game ID, and that ruined everything. So I reverted back. I thought that made sense. Turns out it did not at all. So hopefully I can go the opposite direction, make this one go by the game ID, and just to see if I can get it working. I didn't have time to do that before presenting. But what, you know, I'll do my best to see if I can get it working. Other than that, I have no idea what that next step is. But obviously that's my #1 priority, because it's a chess website. You want to be able to play chess with someone. I thought it would be way easier than it turned out to be. But I think those words are my downfall. But other than that, on one side, it's a working game of chess. You can let's see. If you move wrong, it says invalid move. You can put the king into check, it makes him red, and then you can block him. If you go for, I'm just gonna initiate a check mate. Oh yeah. So if I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this, and then I do that, checkmate. Now it can't move. No more moves can be made because it's in checkmate. And then the only other thing I think is the pawns can promote, and you can choose between what piece to promote to. And then, yeah, and so when it comes to, I'll get rid of this. When it comes to things that I want to add, stuff that's on my user list that's not done yet is being able to resign or offer a draw. I didn't add those things, mostly because I've just been focused on the actually getting it working part. And then when it comes to my stretch goals, I want to add like elo. When you win a game, you gain elo. When you lose a game, you lose elo. The ability to log in so that you don't have to invite via link, but if you're both logged in, then your elo will save. And the chat function also doesn't populate, probably for the same reason that the chess pieces don't.
and then fix up some of the CSS. Because like on the chat page, I can pull that back up. On the chat page, if you type things and you send it, it just like it pushes it down instead of up, which is the opposite of what I want. I don't know what I did wrong there, but that's why that happens. Oh, and I'd love to have like a tournament system, probably just by like being able to create a tournament by an admin that people can willingly choose to enter, and then it'll like create a bracket like randomly, or maybe by elo. I don't know how I would do it, but that would be cool, and then people could compete in a tournament style type thing.
Are you using sockets for the matches?
Yes.
Cool, nice. I haven't done sockets with Python yet. Curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, me neither.
Awesome. Yeah, looks great. Questions, anyone? Cool. Great stuff all around. These are looking really, really good, I think. Yeah, so you know what you're working on next week. You got your user stories and priorities and whatnot. For the presentation on Thursday, I always highly recommend making a video of your presentation and showing that. That way, if for some reason something goes wrong at the last minute, you have the video to show off, and then you also have that to like put on YouTube or Vimeo and show that off without having to walk people through it. It's always really good that, especially if you're hosting something. Definitely had, I've definitely had people host their back ends somewhere or front ends. And there's one time when it was like 5 years ago or so when like Amazon went down and GitHub was down and everything was down because of some Russian hacker attack. And so during presentations, so no one could present. So yeah, recordings are really good, or at least having a recording that you can talk over and kind of explain stuff as it goes along. Yeah, and yeah, always work in branches. always work in branches. Cool, especially as it comes time to present. Sweet. These all look really good. Do y'all have any questions for me regarding any of this? Yeah, good stuff. Awesome. Well, yeah, keep plugging away. I'll post this video just for the channel, I think, so y'all can see it for posterity. And otherwise, yeah, if there's nothing else, keep plugging away, and I'll see you at stand down.